Hello, this is Ms. McCoffna, and I'm going to teach you how to use Google Drive. I'm going to tell you what it is and how do you use it for your research paper. First of all, Google Drive is a file storage service that's created and managed by Google. It allows users to store documents in the cloud, share files, and edit documents with collaborators. So what's the cloud, you might be asking? The cloud just refers to software and services that you run on the internet instead of your computer. This is really just an online thumb drive. So how do I use the Google Drive? First, you're going to sign in to a Chromebook with your own Gaggle account. If you do not know your Gaggle account, see your teacher. Once you have signed on to a Chromebook, you are going to open the drive by clicking on this symbol right here. Once you're in the drive using your Chromebook, it should look something like this. Now, you may have documents listed here if you've created things or if somebody has shared those documents with you before. But what you'll want to notice is make sure that this is in fact your name and your Gaggle account up in this left-hand or right-hand corner. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a folder. So we're going to click on New, and then we're going to choose Folder, and we want to be very deliberate in how we're naming our folder. Everybody in 7th grade for their research paper is going to name their folder their first name, their last name, the number 7 for grade 7, and research paper. And then just click on Create. You'll see that this folder is now in my drive. You may have a different view. I've chosen List View, but we could, or Grid View, so you can switch between those two, whichever one makes more sense for you. Now, we know that in a cloud system, we can share documents, and we want to make sure that we share these documents with our teacher. The purpose of sharing this folder is so that your teacher does not have to have you log in. They can simply look in their Google Drive and see what you have done. So we're going to click on this little person that has a plus sign, and if you hover over it with your mouse, you'll see that it says Share, Jamie McCoffna 7 research paper, and that's in fact what we want to do. So we're going to click on the little person, and it's going to give us some options. So we're going to enter 2 email addresses here. We're going to enter the name of our social studies teacher and the name of our language arts teacher. There are different permissions that you can give to those people. They can either edit them or view them. And we do want your teachers to be able to edit your information so that they can make comments and help you to make your research paper better. In order to find the name or the email address of your teacher, I'm going to put up a slide, and teachers, if you would pause the video once the slide is shown, so that students can type in the name of their language arts teacher and social studies teacher correctly. So what we have here is we've typed in Ms. Chicrella's name and Ms. Jackson's name. If you wanted to add another person, you could keep typing email addresses, but for our purposes today, we're just going to use our language arts teacher and our social studies teacher. And then you're going to go ahead and hit Send. You'll see that you get a notification that it was shared with 2 people, and everything that you do in this folder will now be shared. Now, inside of the folder, you see there's nothing here yet. I'm going to create all of my documents in the folder. So I'm going to click on New, and Google Docs will give me a word processing program. You'll get a message that says, do you want to actually create this in the shared folder? And yes, we do want to create this because we want to make sure that what we're creating is shared with our teachers. So we'll click OK. And it'll give you this option to complete a Google Doc here. Remember, when we are titling our documents, we want to be very thoughtful and very deliberate, and we want to use our first name, our last name, and the title of the item that we're working on. So let's just say that this is our rough draft. Again, make sure that your first and last name is there so your teacher knows what they're looking at. So you'd click OK. And then you can type here and so forth and so on. So you should see, we'll hit refresh, you should see that document that we created is now in the folder. And you can see our Jamie McCoffin rough draft is here, and you can see that it's in the folder, the research paper. So if we go back to our drive, I want to show you a common mistake that people might make. They might just make a new document, and let's just say that I'm going to make my rough draft. And I'm going to title it something different. We'll just call this rough draft 2. But where is that actually saved? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out to my drive, and I'll refresh it again. And you'll see that the second rough draft that I just created is here. Is that in the folder that I've shared with my teacher? No. So if I need to move something to my folder, I'm going to click and hold, and I can drag it into that folder. I'll also get the message that says, are you sure you want to share this with your teacher? And the answer is yes, so we're going to click OK. So if you open that folder again, you'll see that those 2 documents that I created are here. So at any point, if you're wondering which folder you're working in, you just want to look here. After My Drive, make sure that you're working in the research paper. You can create all sorts of other types of documents, including Google Slides, which you may or may not use for your index cards for your research paper. That will be another video. If you have any questions, make sure to ask your teacher. If your teacher has questions, please make sure to ask Ms. McCoffin.